A woman writes on my video where I was getting down and dancing in the room here that I have wimpy arms. She had no face picture, of course. So I wrote her back and I said, I'm pretty sure my arms are stronger than yours. I bet you're not in a warehouse slinging freight, but hey, and I am 60. The trolls on the internet. One of my subscribers, Nate, messaged me in Discord saying he cannot believe that Femyaz even has a platform. Neither can I. That's the beauty of YouTube today. You got everybody, but let's put an indent in this. We're going to talk about, we need to start calling out this stuff because the quietest people on the internet are the Christians. The quietest people in the world today are conservatives. The loudest people are the most obnoxious. They get all the attention. But what about a Muslim? Was it in Berlin? Drove through a gay pride event with intent to kill people. Now, I don't support gay pride, but the news agency says a man. They won't say a Muslim. Why is it that the news reports or refuses to report the truth? You ever notice when they say something happens in the U.S., now they're saying a white male, a Caucasian suspect, but if it's black, if it's Middle Eastern, silencio por favor. We need to start calling this out. Yes, Muslims are wicked people too, and they do things. Let's talk about Dearborn with their prayer chants. There's a noise ordinance. But the mayor, who's Muslim, doesn't care. We never, ever, ever, ever should have allowed the construction of one mosque in the United States. They don't allow churches or synagogues in Muslim nations. Why are we allowing them that freedom here? Why? The liberals and the media are trying to paint a picture that Muslims are nice people. Yeah, Ilhan Omar is a real good soul, ain't she? Rashida Tlaib. You got to hear the potty talk that comes out of their mouths. They're ratchet, complete ratchet women. Imagine being married to that. Woo, baby. Better have your steel pants on. But again, we need to call it out about men. The simp condition of men. Anton Daniel, he's a YouTuber that likes to showcase video and then comment on it. And I like that. It's a good approach. And he showcased this one here, saying, I would never date a Christian. Number one, she's not pretty. Number two, listening to her nasally voice, I'm like, honey, I don't think you got to worry about all the guys coming over to you. But let's go further. Jenny, the woman that showed up at our church back in the winter and acted rather odd. Then she came back a couple months ago, sat next to me, wanted me to know how beautiful she was and texted me for the rest of Sunday afternoon. I said, you want to call? Nope, she just wanted a keyboard warrior. I believe a man needs to be wealthy. That's not biblical. Oh, but I've read it and it is. Really? I didn't know that God spent all his time in the scripture saying for a man to be qualified to be involved with a pretty woman, he's got to have a large amount of cash. I don't find that anywhere in there. But what about this? This is our world today. She's sitting in her car with a tube top or not a tube top. I don't know what you call it. And she's got 7,000 likes right away. It's not because she has any content. She doesn't. She's just showing skin. And it's funny, when I dress like this, men will come on and say, why are you wearing that? Why don't you ask her why is she wearing this? Why don't you? You don't. Why not? Well, because it's okay. Is it? What about this one? Her whole channel is this. She's talking about simple living in a bikini. If you're into saggy flapjacks, cool. What about this one? Huge amount of views. She's talking about her height, but the camera's focused on what? That's all YouTube stuff. And I get tired of this. People judge me for wearing women's attire. They're silent about women showing their cleavage, showing all that skin. And we are a simp nation in America. Grown men give those channels the traction they need. Grown men feed into the narcissism and the immaturity of today's Western women. They are responsible. If men would stop thumbs upping and liking that stuff, this stuff would dry up like a tumbleweed and blow down a ghost town. And you'd hear, we created the problem. Even in our church, you can't get away from it. Even in our church. The rudeness of some of the women at our church, the teen girls that are high school or just become adult, walk in between myself and another person talking, don't say, excuse me. See, what a lot of women in our culture don't realize is as I've gotten older, their face tells a story. Too many men are looking right here. I want you to look here on a woman. You can see selfishness. You can see immaturity. It's etched into their very facial expressions. Start paying attention to that and less attention to this. Because guess what? When they're my age, this is bye-bye. Let me say that one more time. When those hotties are my age, this is gone. These are going to look like your plate of pancakes at Waffle House with the blueberry at the end of it. You think that's hot? This one, I wouldn't date a Christian. And if you listen to these women, they're so full of their own BS, it's disgusting. There's 43,000 denominations, and they're going to try to tell me that their belief in God is correct. Oh, you really came up with an airtight argument of why God doesn't exist, didn't you? No. Denominations are a man-made thing, honey bunches of oats. And I'll bet you got bad breath. You're not hot. But watch this. Men are simps. Men will suck it up, lap it up. Men are like dogs. They'll eat out of the pig trough when it comes to women. They'll eat out of the dumpster when it comes to women. There's a guy at work. He's arrogant as all get out. He's got mass rank BO. Doesn't shave his face. Got stringy hair that doesn't look nice. His teeth are rotted out. He's younger than me. He says people are dumb. People suck. He thinks he's smart. He's bragging that I had 210 IQ. Somebody told me his girlfriend is overweight and got ferrets under her arms with all the hair. I thought, well, two birds of a feather. We need to talk about some Western women. I'm not talking about the ones on my channel. Most of the Western women on my channel agree. But there is a problem in femaledom, and we need to shout it out in the streets. We need to shout out about the dangers of Islam. We need to shout out about how tolerant they're not. And I don't believe in gay pride parades, but I also don't believe in taking a truck and running people over there. I just don't go to that stuff. No interest. I had a good talk with my friend yesterday. I met him through my former channel. He lived in China and he taught English in Guangzhou for 6 years. We talked honestly about a lot of stuff. Let me tell you something. Let's pull the veil off of this one. You go over to Asia, there's something called ladyboys. When you're on the streets of Manila or Hong Kong, Thailand, you can't tell them apart from a woman. Very feminine, makeup, ladylike. I'm going to use a word that's going to shock you. Sweet. A ladyboy is sweeter than that. What has happened to the majority of women in this country that are all over the internet, putting themselves out there like they are the bee's knees and actually believing there's something? It's because of simp men. Slobbering, lusting, complimenting. They're like the bellows of a cigarette lighter to a section of pine needles in a forest. And to a woman like that, her head explodes immediately. You see it at church where I go. The stuck-upness is written on the faces of these women. You can see it from teens on up. And when they get older, they can't hide the etched in granite, rest me biatch face. They're going to tell you about Jesus, and their face looks like they are a biatch. One woman shoves. You can feel her pushing on her way out of church. Tailgating. She tailgated my deuce one day. Got to roar down the road. Got to hurry up and get home. And the church doesn't address it. Women get up and sing special music. I thought this is worship. I thought this was worship. But we're clapping for the woman. Grown men saying, yeah! This isn't a concert. What are we doing? I wouldn't date you, honey, if you were the last woman on the island. I would have fun looking at you on an island and saying, I tell you what, this is my hut over here. That's yours over there. Don't come and bother me, please. You don't date a Christian man, I have no interest in you. And if you need help, cry out to your false belief system and see if that rescues you. The attack on Christianity is real. The attack on Western culture by Islam is becoming a reality. The clown Democrats and liberals are letting them in. And I told my friend when he told me the news about the gay pride truck crasher, it's funny. The Democrats are, fluffing the butt cheeks of Muslims, powdering them, and powdering the LGBT, but the Muslims don't like the LGBT. So how do they reconcile that? People are too unwise to realize there's some people that don't belong in a free society. They need to wear a shirt. The Muslims does not play well with others. And we've opened the door as the UK, as Germany, as France. They're unrecognizable today. Dumb people in America came up with the little gay coexist sticker. You're stupid. Go take your coexist sticker and go downtown Tehran and see how far you get. All right? They're not tolerant. Slay the infidel wheresoever you find them. All that convert not to Allah, slay. Read the Quran, it's in there. A religion of peace, my butt cheeks. Islam is not a religion of peace. It never was. Did you know? Prophet Muhammad, I just found this out through my friend. He died because a Jewish woman gave him some mutton that was infected because somebody she knew was killed and she wanted to get revenge. They claim he lived 4 years, but that set things into motion. And he's claiming he's a prophet. Muhammad was not a prophet. That's a lie from the devil. Muhammad was a pedophile, took an 8-year-old girl from mama and married her. And the Democrats are silent about that, as they're silent about Epstein and all the other clowns on the left that have been endorsing this stuff. But at the same time, what are men doing to their teen daughters? What are men doing to teenagers in general? They're silent about their rude behavior. I went to a church in Colorado where a guy said something, I had a bumper sticker, something about my princess daughter is why I have a gun. Oh, you the big macho going to defend your little narcissist daughter. Wow. And they keep this crap going. Number one, your daughter's not your princess. She's a sinner like everybody else. Stop puffing up her big head. I drove buses for 20 years. Teenage girls are rude, 99.9% of them. And they excuse it. Well, they're going through changes. Well, so was I. I wasn't allowed to be like that to adults. Not in that time. I went through school and I saw girls get away with murder. Girls would pull their shirts up in the gym. Can you imagine if I pulled my pants down in the gym as a guy in a public school? I would have been hauled off the office, busted, parents called. I was at Denver Public Schools. A woman that was finally, and this is what's really funny, we're going to talk about something. Her name was Jolene. She was the key lightning rod in the place. She caused a lot of problems. She wouldn't pre-trip her bus. She'd have the guys do it for her. There was a guy I knew, a Mexican guy. And I don't know why all these guys were so enamored with her. She saw me doing the hand massage on another woman. She wanted me to do hers, and then she wanted me to do her neck and shoulders. I was almost going to be like, no. I did it to be kind, not because there was an interest. She did the, what do you call it? The gastrointestinal bypass. She was very heavy, very loud, very offensive. She didn't care about other people's feelings. She had been through transportation with men. And when I massaged her, she lost the weight so fast, there was no muscle tone to her at all. And I said to her, I said, you talk a tough talk, but there's no muscle in here, man. It's all flab. People were intimidated by her. She dated another Mexican guy, and he was cool. We got along. I said, are you dating her? He goes, I am. I said, you do know she's in love with somebody. What? I said, yeah. Have you seen that big 6-foot-tall Mike that comes in here? They're going out. That's her boy toy, she told everybody. No. I said, yes. So I walked over to her table. when she was fraternizing with my friend, I said, "Aren't you dating Mike?" "Yeah, that's what I thought." And I watched his face drain of color. This is a true story. She got somebody angered at work, another Hispanic woman. That other Hispanic woman was dating a chick. That chick came down there and came after Joe. You talking about my girlfriend? Jolene ran her mouth at her. The other girl was younger, smaller. Somebody was videoing from their car. This girl came up and uppercut her in the face and dropped her. It was posted on Facebook for all to see. My monitor got on my bus and said, "Oh my gosh, you won't believe what happened." And she told me, I said, "No, somebody dropped her? No way. A small, skinny white girl?" Don't mess with the lesbians, folks. They'll get you. They'll get you. The girl that complained to her lover about it went in the office to talk to the terminal manager. She was fired. She didn't throw a blow or nothing. I guess she got mad and cussed out the terminal manager. And people, including those that sat at Joe's table and ate out of her hand, said, "Oh, she's going to be fired now." It was a Friday. We were called into an impromptu meeting in between routes. Anita stood up and said, "How many of you heard about what happened?" All of our hands went up. "How many of you were actually there?" Few hands went up. She goes, "Exactly. This is a case of mistaken identity." And I was dating a black woman. I looked at her and I said, "Here we go with the spin." Management did everything they could to protect her. Everything. True story. She violated workplace rules. She walked into the break room one morning, 5 a.m. "My coochie itches." She said that. I looked, I said, "Really, Jolene?" "Well, I'm just being honest." And I walked up very quietly and I said, "What would happen if I walked in and said my balls itched?" "Ha, you'd probably be fired." I said, "So why would you say that?" "They ain't going to do nothing to me. I got something over everybody in this place. They ain't going to touch me." The confidence and the arrogance was amazing. I tried to get along with her, but I saw the way she was. And after that event, management didn't do one thing to her. She took a whole week of paid vacation off. Somebody said her face was black and blue. She didn't want to be seen. She walked into the break room one day, and a black woman who was one of our union people, she said, "You can get," or no, excuse me. She came up and Jolene was serving. They had a free food for Denver Public School transportation employees. The mechanics came in and she gave them a hot dog and a hamburger. And Avita come up and said, "I'd take both." "You can't." "Well, I saw you give that to the mechanics." "Well, we rewarded them." She said, "I'm seeing other drivers in here." And she got mouthy with her. And Avita looked at her and said, "Didn't you get taken out by a small little white girl? You don't learn, do you?" And nobody took me out. Jolene went straight to the office, reported it. Avita got talked to and reprimanded. And I saw something at Denver Public Schools. Hispanic women got favoritism over blacks, over whites, over Asians. When I was here in Richmond County, blacks got favoritism over everybody else. And the beat goes on. But a weird thing has happened down there. They put an obnoxious, offensive, unqualified white woman who most of the black women cannot stand and I can't stand over all the lead drivers. What's happening in the United States of America? Does anybody know? White men are being trashed. Men are being trashed. Our culture's being trashed. Jolene left a kid on the bus. Now, this was communicated to me by somebody. Drove all the way back to the bus garage, parked her bus, forgot to clock out, and went home. I don't know how much time transpired, but a kid got off that bus, was walking around a bus lot, and people were like, what's this little kid doing down there? And the kid was in tears. The mother threatened a lawsuit against Denver Public Schools. And somebody in management called her and said, they're going to fire you for this, so you can either choose to quit or be fired. They gave her an option to save face. Anybody else would have been fired. They did the same thing here. A clown in the shop bragging that he screwed half the female employees at transportation and was actively involved with a married woman while he was married to a Jamaican. Guy had made veiled threats at me a few times. Never did anything to him. He don't like white boys. He was there 25 years. He destroyed a school bus that I just released to a driver that I redid all the seats. Playing with his phone, hit a truck and a trailer, crushed the bus, totaled it. He continued to work there for 2 months. That's funny. If I or anybody else did that, it would have been instant termination that day. Favoritism is being shown towards women, towards ethnic people, not us. And they keep saying whites have privilege. That's a lie. That's a lie. We need to shout this out. We need to shout out what's going on in transportation in Richmond County. I should have shouted out what's going on in DPS. They had a guy. He's in charge of the terminal. He's a womanizer. He's ugly. He's not handsome. He looks older than me, and he ain't. And he's flirting up with the girls. In fact, in his routing department, he had nothing but Hispanic women working in there. I'm like, gee, somebody might want to look at that. Then he was rude to me downtown. He was always rude to me. Thought he was the alpha male and a jerk. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to turn his butthead in. And I learned something. He had a white lesbian boss over him all of a sudden. And I went to her and I said, hey, I want to talk to you about something. I said, I've always been nice to him. He's rude. He's condescending. And this is what happened downtown today. She smiled. She goes, I will take care of that. That's not acceptable. What I've learned to do is when you use the woke people that are favored as your ally, things get done. She didn't like him anyway. He was a pompous, arrogant machismo. Even my German supervisor said he keeps coming to this break room sitting with Jenny and is totally violating protocol. Muslims are favored. Blacks are favored. Hispanics are favored. Whites, males, conservatives, Trump voters, God-fearing. Look at this. Seeing it on YouTube. I would never date a Christian. Man, honey, I'd never date you. You're not cute. And your voice, I couldn't listen to you for 2 minutes. I'd say, go, leave my house, please. YouTube has given people a platform. No one will say a word of that. No one. No one will criticize her clothing. You know why? Because they all want to mate her. She doesn't have content. She doesn't have any substance. She's talking in that video. If a man comes up with the water with his face glistening, he can get anything he wants. What is that? I can't say the word or YouTube will censor me, but there's only one word that comes to mind looking at this, looking at this, looking at this. We're not trying to draw attention to anything here. Women have one asset on the internet today. These. That's it. That's all. Now, not all women are doing this on YouTube. There's some women out there that got some positive content. Desi Wolf, I think it is. She's a Native American Indian. I just discovered her channel. Man, she be bopping and getting down in her house. And I support that because she's older. She's dancing and having fun. Nobody's leaving comments like, you need mental help. Me, I do that. And it's grown men. Grown men. Telling me I need therapy, I need mental health, I need something. But you sit there like Scooby-Doo with a Scooby snack with women. Yeah. Men have created the monster that Western women have become. Tell me I'm lying. You put the bellows to their fragile little egos, to their fragile little self-esteem, and we have rocketed women that all they have to offer society is this. We put them to the front of the line. How long before you get tired of that? She's cute. She's a good-looking woman. Is that strictly because of her? Or is it because of the way God made her? As if she has some special skill. And I told my friend, we have what we call gloves off conversations. He and I went through Hong Kong. We went through some similar experiences. I experienced 2 ladyboys. I did. I'm not going to get graphic. I'm not into, things that homosexuals are into, but they looked so feminine. I was curious. They were more gentle and sweeter than a lot of ladies in our culture. Women are trying to become men. Women are arrogant, loudmouthed in public. They cuss like a sailor. And they think they're all that on a stick. You got grown men going to Thailand and going overseas to hook up with ladyboys. My friend had an experience with a ladyboy in the Philippines. And the ladyboy said, it's interesting to watch these white men that come from America and they call us FAGGOT and they hurl insults at us. But at night, they sneak out of their hotel with their wife and they're looking for us and want to play. When I was at the steam bath in Denver, because of some of the roads I've gone down, I have learned some powerful things about society. Grown men that are married were lusting after me. I said, does your wife know about this? Oh, no. Do you love your wife? Oh, yeah. Do you? Then why are you into men? It's the secret they can't let be known. And they're not going to divorce her at 50 and 60. Do you know why? She'll clean them out like a roto-rooter. So they're trapped. So going to the steam bath with other men doesn't register on her radar as taboo. I've even found something true of me with my experimenting with women's attire and lipstick. I'm not the only one. If you think I could get a date with that girl, that would not happen. She would think she's too good for me. I don't make enough money for her. But she's in her car, putting that out there as a teaser, getting all the hearts and likes. And you cannot train men to stop doing that. Because I talk about my struggle with lust. Every man out there liking that is struggling with the same thing. Instead of disciplining themselves to saying, I'm not thumbs upping her and giving her the ego, they can't help themselves. And what these women don't realize is it's easy for me to snap a picture of that. And this one I'm not going to. But you can snap a picture of some of these and wank later. You don't have to ask these people for a picture. You screen share it. Screenshot it. And this is what's happening to society, is the depersonalization of people. Women put themselves out there like that. They get all the hearts and likes. Their heads swell so big they can't get in the door. But you're not going to get a date with them. They're not going to marry you, kiss you, touch you. And it's become a ghost town in the real world due to the virtual. And what I've noticed happening is men that are not gay, because they've been girlfriendless for a long time, because women have shifted San Andreas style. I'm just as clean as that woman. I'm just as good looking as a man as she is as a woman. You throw a little feminine on there, I could cause men to be seduced and stumble. I don't go out there doing that. But I know this. I know this to be true. And I don't want a man because a man can't give me what I need. But most American women can't give me what I need but a headache and a dent in the pocketbook. We need to talk about this. We need to talk about the hypocrisy of the Democrats. Tolerating, letting Muslims get voted into office. They did not pay attention to England, did not pay attention to France or Germany. They're stupid. They had a white woman date and get involved with a Muslim. She was almost killed by him. Yeah, coexist, huh? Read the Quran, people. Read it. Read what it says in there. Key in on the parts that talk about what you can do to those that are not converted to Allah. Key in on that. My Bible does not say slay the unbelievers wheresoever you find them. All that convert not to Christianity, kill them. It even tells them how you can torture them and kill them in there. Check it out. I was shocked when 9/11 happened, and days later, George Bush. I yelled when I saw that. I said, now America will wake up about Islam and how dangerous. No, the whitewashing began. George Bush said Islam is a religion of peace. I yelled. I said, no, it isn't. You cannot have a false religion bring peace. Number one. That goes against the word. Only God can bring peace. Only God can tear down the dividing wall of hostility. Religion doesn't create peace. Religion creates war and strife and animosity, and Islam is nothing but a religion started by a troubled soul named Muhammad, not a prophet. He was a loser. Repeat after me, loser. Islam is dangerous. It's bloodthirsty. It likes attacking airplanes and airports and malls and synagogues and churches. And they're calling for setting fire to American churches and synagogues today, right now. Read what it says in the Quran. Slay the infidels wheresoever you find them. Read about what Muslims coming to the UK are doing to 12-year-olds trying to walk to school. Groping, grabbing. Look what happened when a Hispanic immigrant came up to a teen girl in a restaurant and forcibly kissed her. She stands up and screams. He was arrested. I think that was in Florida. The world's gone nuts. Even me. But a 6'4" black guy harassing me every day and being a problem, management did nothing with Christian leadership. Everybody's afraid of a lawsuit. Everybody's being afraid of being called racist. He finally got fired because he failed a second drug test. He should have been fired for the one. The guy that killed Irenia on a Charleston, North Carolina bus was let off by a black judge before that. He got off the bus bragging, I got that white girl. So proud of himself. See, white lives don't matter. Conservative lives don't matter. Jews' lives don't matter. Christian lives don't matter. White men's lives don't matter. Only the others. They said he's incompetent to stand trial. Really? Incompetent, huh? He knew what he was doing. He didn't do that to a black girl. He knew exactly what he was doing. There were all these black women on the bus. In fact, black men and black women on that bus got off, looked at her, walked on. No one came to her aid. When you see that, that's when it snaps to grid. I live in a dangerous world. And the same thing that went on in Nazi Germany is going on in America today. Except it's not just the Jews, it's whites. They're setting the stage for atrocities to be committed against us. And the same Democrat Party that likes to scream that our president is Adolf Hitler is the Third Reich, is the Mein Kampf, is the Gestapo, is the brown shirts, aka SS. The Democrat Party is wicked, satanic evil. I'm not mincing words, and I don't care if my viewers are offended. Somebody wrote, man, I wish you'd do less dancing and less talk about politics. I wish I could too, ma'am, but our country's going to hell in a handbasket. And we need to speak out, and we need to be a collective voice, and conservatives not to stop being pussies and wussies and milquetoast. They need to stand up collectively and say, we're tired of it. There is a two-tiered justice system now. Blacks move to the front of the line, whites, you're in trouble. We're seeing it. We're watching it play out in our very eyes. Look at O.J. Simpson, accused of killing Nicole Brown and Ronald Goldman on a 45-mile-an-hour joyride or whatever on the LA freeways in the infamous Bronco. If that had been me, they would have had spike strips. My truck would have been full of bullet holes. Helicopter news coverage, people standing on the freeway cheering OJ on. The police wouldn't have let me have that kind of deal. Who's got privilege in this country? The lawless? The ethnicities that are acting bad? The same is happening in England. This is no joke. In our country, feminism is on the throne. Islam is becoming on the throne. Voting in an Islamic communist mayor in New York City was a slap in the face to every 9/11 victim. Mamdani is full of Satan. I would say it to his face. Islam is a satanic belief system. Why do I say that? Because it denies Jesus Christ. Anything that contradicts the word and the godhood deity of Jesus Christ is false. And we know we've got an entire Old Testament about what God thought about false religion. The internet is not fair. If I was a good-looking woman with these, I'd get all the likes and hearts and money I wanted to shake a stick at. Because I'm a guy? No. Guys come on here criticizing my dress. Why are guys worried about the way I'm dressing? What's it to them? And they got their pants down looking at this. And this. And this. And they're silent. They're silent. They're silent about the narcissism of these women that just want to constantly show this. That's the only content they have. And they didn't create it, God did. Isn't that interesting? Me, I talk about issues from the heart. No script, no teleprompter. I'd never make a living from this. I watched at Denver Public Schools favoritism towards Hispanics. I watched at Richmond County Schools here in Augusta, Georgia, favoritism towards blacks and a white woman who is atrocious in her behavior. Her son got a special education bus position, never having driven a school bus in his life. The guidelines were you had to have years of experience in a school bus before you get on SPED. There's nepotism down there. There's favoritism. And it's not for me. I was fired because I told the truth. Nobody in that community cared about the white woman that was tore up by blacks. White woman didn't even do anything. She grabbed the hand of another woman that was being attacked by them. And they were all getting angry because somebody yelled the N-word. Well, it wasn't her. And you're upset that somebody yelled the N-word? You guys say it every day. You call each other that, you sing it out. But if a white guy says it, it's racism. You know, I'm not sorry for what I'm about to say, but that ethnic community needs some mental health therapy. If the word is so offensive, then stop slinging it and flinging it and singing it. I don't know what part of that you don't understand. And I've had guys tell me, well, it's okay if we use it because we don't say N-I-G-G-E-R, we say N-I-G-G-A. I said, you know what? You're full of Swiss cheese. That ain't going to fly with me. Privilege. I've yet to turn in and cash in my privilege card. I've yet to turn it in. It's not worth a dime. And the powers that be are trying to denigrate and oppress, harass, and persecute us for the color of our skin. The very thing that Martin Luther spoke out against. Not wild. I gotta go get snacks. I'll be right back. I grew up with a woman who adopted me who was a chain smoker. She had a real problem with smoking. And I'm gonna say some harsh things towards the smoker world because they need to be said. My voice is deeper than it is because I grew up with the secondhand smoke so thick in our house. Whenever I went on a date, the girls would say, "Oh my gosh, your parents smoke. It's all in your clothes." I hate the smell of a cigarette. I will not date a woman who smokes under any circumstances ever. I don't want to kiss her. I don't want to lick the ashtray. I cannot believe that human beings get addicted to a damn cigarette. It is nasty. I don't understand it. Why would you smoke something that smells like that? Same with marijuana. Why would you do that? My mother would talk all my life about being tolerant. I'm going to tell about a true story and bring it into 2026. Stay with me. I grew up in Torrance, California. 1976, we moved to Mammoth Lakes, California. 300 miles northeast from Los Angeles, up 395. Mammoth is a ski resort town, population 2,500. So the relatives lived in LA, San Gabriel, Lawndale, Temple City, Pasadena area. So we made trips several times a year. Riding in the backseat of a car with my mom and dad smoking profusely was more than I could bear. My mother determined early on I had allergies. But that didn't stop her from puffing and huffing. I was afraid of my mother. My mother was abusive. My mother was childish. My mother would get mad at her husband for no reason. She'd climb up. She'd act like women would act today. "I'm not going to talk to you for a week." He'd come up and try to hug her. She'd shove him away. He went downtown LA to make the good money, to take care of her little narcissistic, selfish, juvenile behavior as a grown woman. My mother was abusive. My mother was horrible. She put a catch on my bedroom door. And I remember coming home from school and she'd prompt me, shove me in my room and put the catch on it. I'd have to bang on the door and get my mother's attention when I had to go potty. She'd get mad that I bothered her because I had to go out to use the toilet. And like Pavlov's dog, when you go through this stuff, guess what? You learn. Man, she's getting annoyed because I have to go to the bathroom. So I'd pull the bed out and piss in the corner behind the bed. Didn't take long for the room to stink. The carpet to get gross. They pulled the carpet, painted my bedroom floor red. They locked me in my room on a Saturday. I'd see the kids playing outside and they're waving, come on. I slid my bedroom window open, climbed out, and ran off. My dad paddled my butt and drove a stud nail into the wooden windowsill so I couldn't open the window. I don't know if they had child protective services back then, but I know for a fact my parents both would have been thrown in jail for what they did to this day. My mother's still alive, has never picked up the phone ever or made any effort to say I'm sorry. Instead, she's like most American women, projecting, well, you know, Michael was flibbity-gibbet, Michael this, Michael that, Michael. She sold me down the river to the whole family over and over and over. And butthole men get on here and comment about the way I'm dressed, about me dancing. Yeah, maybe that has something to do with it. But I think more of it's satire. If my mother saw me now, I wouldn't care what she thought. Wouldn't even be affected. You know how many years it took me to get to the point where I finally stopped worrying about her view of me? Well, it took me till I was 33 to finally write a letter and tell her what I witnessed growing up. She didn't like that. She conveniently forgot it all. My sister was a picky, finicky eater. My mother took her dinner and mashed it in her face at the dining room table in the house in Torrance when I was a kid. I had a habit of chewing on my shirt. I don't know why, when I was in grade school. She called me out of my room to the dinner table. She cut up a collared shirt with a pair of scissors and put parsley flakes on it, said, there's your dinner. I said, I'm not eating that. She yelled and screamed at me to eat it. I said, I'm not eating that. She grabbed me. She was rough. My mother was a nasty ass, demonically infested woman. And her natural born daughter sucks up out of her every day. My sister was not a good woman. She joined the Mormon church. She lied. She sat in the house when I was married at grandma's. Would have been 1990. Let me figure this out. 96. And she brought up the conversation. She brought it up. Her husband was sitting there. Mom wasn't nice to you. I said, no, she wasn't. She started this conversation and then she said, well, you know, there was a catch on my door too. I said, there was? I didn't know that. The next day, my wife and I were going to go down and pick up the U-Haul and leave and head back to Denver. My grandmother said, Michael, this is what she said. You and your sister talking about your parents like that wasn't right. And out of respect for my grandmother, I said, well, I said, I should have had this discussion in your home. And I'm sorry for that. But I've been through a lot. And we needed to talk about that. And she got belligerent. I said, hey, we're not here to start anything. We're going to go get the truck and we're going to leave. So let's leave on a good note. And I went to grab the vacuum. She said, what are you doing? I said, we're going to vacuum our room. You don't need to do it. Okay. She left the house. We got the truck. We came back, loaded up our things, left. My mother got all involved in that. I mean, I'm not even under her rule anymore. But let's go back to the smoking. Number one, women that smoke don't make a good wife. I'm going to say it. So help me God. They're married to a cigarette. Their cigarette comes first. I've seen it at every place I work. We had a woman that lives down the street from me, walking around with the damn thing in her mouth unlit. Every white woman I know that was addicted to smoking was rude, crusty, had a smoker's voice, sounded like a man. Gross. I hate smoking. I wish they would ban it and make it illegal. I don't like vapes, but at least they don't smell like a cigarette. Cigarettes are nasty. And I had no say and no rights as a kid. Riding in the back seat of a Honda Civic or a Honda Accord as a kid. And I would work up the nerve. Mom, could you please crack the window bit? That cigarette. Oh, Michael, you're so intolerant. You know what's ironic is my mother was a Republican conservative. She acted like a Democrat. Her way or the highway. Screw my feelings. I hated the smoking. Made my eyes water. Made me irritable. I was having a reaction to it. When I moved out and got my own place, I had redone the inside of my camper. I put carpeting halfway up the walls. There was a store that got rid of a bunch of carpet samples. I thought, oh, that'd be cool to do a multicolored panel around the bed. People loved it. She goes, I said, don't bring that cigarette in here. She got angry at me. I said, Mom, I lived my whole life with you. You're not going to smell up all this new carpeting I put in my camper. Please. Smokers are selfish. They don't care about anybody else's feelings. And there will be several that will get on my channel and say, well, I don't smoke in the house and I don't la-di-da. I have one friend, lives in Colorado. She's in her 70s now. She smokes. She does not smoke in the place. You can't smell it in the house. I like her as a friend. I wouldn't date her because she smokes. We used to sit and drink tea together and talk into the night. But dating, kissing, smokers? And my friend, she's a beautiful Italian. She's got major teeth problems. She spent so much in cigarettes that she wouldn't go and get dental work done. Now she's looking at $50,000 to get dentures. By the way, dentures is a racket. It is a racket. What they're charging for plastic teeth is disgusting. More women in America that were pretty, they didn't want to date me, they got involved in drugs, they smoked, their teeth are falling out and 25 years old and 30 years old. Come down here to Augusta. Most of the men I work with have missing gone, rotten, blackened teeth. Man, it's sobering to realize people say we're a third world country. No, we're worse. Even the Filipinos and shanty towns have their teeth. Oh, America's a whole different breed of everything. It scares me. It scares me when you have an Andrew trolling me for 11 years, an aggressive, predatory homosexual, an aggressive predator. It angers me that Femyaz has a platform on YouTube and they haven't stricken his channel off the air. I see when other people that were, quote, my friends, are now involved in rage baiting, and they can talk to this Femyaz, but they wouldn't go up and tell him to leave me alone, just one of their other friends. And I realize my whole life is I don't have rights, I don't have value. And that's why I get on here and talk about it. Because right here, this has more value than I do. 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 None of those people that I just showed you are going to be good relationally. The fact that they're on here being narcissists, you go ahead and date and mate them. Go ahead. Get back to me. You're going to wish you hadn't. My mother is and was an unhappy woman. When relatives came up to visit, she put on the dog, was nice, chipper, spent the money, my dad's money. Company would leave and she's back to her old tricks. My mother told the family, well, Michael never formed a bond with me. I wrote her, I said, whose fault was that? When I was a kid, I wanted to ride with you, not Dad. I didn't have respect for my dad. I mean, he did go to LA, he did work, he provided a roof and clothes and all that. But my dad was overweight. We couldn't have any conversation. My dad was simpleton. He was in love with Nevada. Nevada was sagebrush and rattlesnakes. I've been over the entire state of Nevada in a camper truck. There's some memories that stand out, like eating corned beef hash on a Coleman stove late at night with the Nevada stars out. The father that adopted me did it only because his wife wanted her way or no deal. My mother was emotionally impulsive. Because of my journey into life, I had to take things apart to learn to put me back together. I had to experience things myself. A steam bath. A back massage by a gay male in his beautiful home. A ladyboy. All the different women in Hong Kong. I became very tactile. I wanted hands-on experience. I wanted to see for myself what it is. You think I could stand in front of the church I attend and tell my story? These people here couldn't handle it. And I said to my viewers yesterday, nobody at the church wants to hear me. This is the South. They don't give a shit about me down here. The people that cared about me here were the people I'd be the most likely to think would not. Nicoya, a black woman, reached out to me on Thanksgiving 2020. Do you want me to bring you a plate? I was working on doors in my kitchen, had them laid out, was hanging them on a jamb and putting them into place. It bothers me. People say, what are you doing for the holidays? What the hell do you think? Nothing. Being alone. When I met Nicoya at transportation, I thought she was ratchet. She had a mouth on her that didn't quit. And I did something that my family never taught me to do. In time, I began to see that Nicoya had a huge heart under that rough exterior. Nicoya has shown true love to me. She's got a husband. She hasn't flirted or led me to believe in anything. And she still calls. And we talk. Johnita, a black woman who took me to the hospital after I got my fingers smashed at Lowe's. There was a white woman here that came down when I got COVID and brought me Alka-Seltzer and Gatorade. I couldn't drink it, but I was so sick, I gobbled it up. The Alka-Seltzer actually helped. I tried to call her, but she doesn't talk because I won't go to the church. We all used to go to the Assembly of God, and it's been taken over by a husband and wife, and they're both claiming to be pastors. And I got a friend in the neighborhood named Jacqueline. She kept saying I should come. I said, no. I said, I'm not a fan of women being a pastor. I'm not hateful. And that's a problem in our society. When you have a different view, well, a lot of white people won't associate with you. And in 2020, I had no family reach out to me. I bought this house and questioned myself over and over and over. There were times I laid in my bed and said, man, I bought a white ass elephant. Where do I go as a man? I don't go to the bar and get a drink. I don't go to the local dealer and buy weed. I don't go to prostitution, wherever that is in Augusta, and hook up. You go to church, and I get guilt from the choir director, guilt from the pastor, guilt from this, and I'm like, what is Christianity? People can say what they want. An atheist friend of mine taught me something profound. Trust the actions, Michael, not the words. Beth in Hong Kong, when I was there, she had many qualities just like my mother. She'd get mad and not answer me. I said, man, what did I do that you're not answering me? And she'd be folding something. And I said, what did I do that you're treating me like this? I'd leave Hong Kong, come back to the US. Oh, I miss you so much. When I ride the train back and you're not there, I cry and cry and cry. What the heck? My mother, on the holidays, lots of love. Mom and dad, I can still picture the scrolly writing. White women are good at that. Calligraphy writing, all the little cute sayings on their house. and they're a biatch. Bam! Reality hits you in the face. And I formed an opinion of a lot of Caucasian women. They'll throw me under the bus fast. Never trust them. Never trust them. So I went to Asia, thinking maybe I could find myself in Hong Kong. I wish I had the freedom to not go to work today. I wish I had the freedom to walk away from all this. Just get in the truck and just leave. To drive. To stop in a town. Go eat at a restaurant. Some waitress says, "Where are you headed?" "I don't know, ma'am. Trying to find a place I belong." "Well, I got a room in my house I'll rent you cheap, and I know there's some work here." That sounds so cool to me. Just to up and go. Change the scenery. Leave. Walk away from this hot-ass place. Augusta's been a place where I've been getting barnacles scraped off my hull. Augusta's not Baltimore or Southside Chicago, but it ain't paradise, that's for sure. I thank God that He takes care of me. But sometimes I just want to cry, and the tears won't come. I don't want people to feel sorry for me. That's not why I say this. My YouTube channel is my therapy. Why go to a psychologist that denies God or gives me Freudian bullcrap? Looking for love in all the wrong places. Trusting too many sweet faces. And behind every sweet face is a black widow spider waiting to inject its venom into you. Why is it community comes through my YouTube channel, but not at my church, not at my work, not at this? Why? How come life in the real is really daunting, intimidating, and scary, and the reality of it is horrifying? Just like I said, fantasy is better than reality. Then Pastor thunders out that we need to stop looking at PORN. Why, Pastor? It meets a need. I can't get a good-looking girlfriend anyway, so what am I supposed to do? And you got people on YouTube doing no-fap videos. And they're going on. You got these geeky Christian men with short little dweeby haircuts where it look like somebody pasted a toupee on them. You know, semen retention is very important. This is gay. I don't want to listen to this. You go ahead and retent your own semen, dude. Yeah, that's weird discussion. Semen retention. Really? You want to buy a certified pre-owned? No, I don't. You got any used cars? No, we don't have used cars anymore. They're pre-owned. Morons. Contrary to popular belief, I find releasing semen once in a while keeps me from blowing up like a volcano. An orgasm never hurt anybody, as long as it's not illegal crap. Good grief. Churches want to decry sexual sin and this and that. You go to church, they're not friendly, and they say, well, and then they give you the teaser, well, if you come all the time, maybe they'll be friendly to you. I come on Sunday. That's what used to be expected. Now you want Wednesday night, Tuesday night, Sunday night, Thursday night. You want me to get involved with these dolt men that can't even speak to me? I don't want to be around them. Well, Mike, as iron sharpens iron, they're dull axes. They ain't going to sharpen me. And you say that. Are they going to let me sharpen them? Because I've got more flint on me than they do. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not going to be manipulated into that. If they can't even get it together on Sunday morning, they ain't going to get it together if I show up every day. So stupid. So wrong. You know, when you become a Christian, you should be able to have fellowship. Sweet. And I'm sorry to say what I'm about to say, but Christians are probably the most dysfunctional people in the United States of America today. They've embraced everything but the truth. They know just enough Bible to be dangerous, but they're insincere, they're fake, they're superficial. Half the women here in the South don't even know how to fricking dress right. You've got an overweight woman. Her face is round and gross. She wears a house drapery thrown over her, and she looks pissed. And in the choir. And that one teenage girl shaking her head and flinging her hair and leaning back and pressing her tots to the heavens and doing stuff like this. These people don't smile. They don't say hi. No, I'm not trying to get in with the teens. But it's like, Pastor keeps saying these teens love the Lord. Really? How come I don't see any difference? Zero. I talked to him about the guy being rude to me. Pastor's response, he actually is very nice. To you. To you. I'm tired of people making excuses for other people. And that's why, as I get older, God, can we just wrap this up, put a bow on it, and let's go home? I don't really have anything to live for. There's a strong sense of foreboding in my mind because I see what's coming. I don't want to be here when these Muslims start getting entrenched in this country. They will destroy us. The only thing I can hold on to is that glimmer of hope that the rapture will happen before it gets too far gone over there. I hope. I'm just Michael keeping it real. Back to the smoking. My mother didn't care about my feelings, my right to clean air. She was just offended, angered that I dare to ask her to crack the window open in the car. Her and my dad were selfish about their habit. My dad and I were not close. My mother and I were not close. I got into antiques. It's the only thing I had in common with my mother. I never did bond with her, and it's through no fault of my own. When my mother bought her own car, she would use me like a pawn. When we drove to LA, she wanted me to ride with my dad. I'd asked to ride with her. I didn't want to ride with Dad and his country music. You know, it's funny, when you grow up with parents, you don't have any rights. You're subject to their music, their ways, limited by their conversation or lack thereof. I wasn't free. until I got my ghetto blaster. You know, the boombox, we call them ghetto blasters. Then I put my big old doofy headphones on, and I'm in the back seat to Flock of Seagulls. And I ran so far away, and I learned. Now you can go into your mental and musical world and check out. Don't got to listen to Dad's country kick and hee-haw. My dad and my mother and dad have no idea. My dad's dead now. He didn't have a kid like I've had on my buses. These kids have no fear. My parents were ridiculous just because I had energy and I talked too much. My dad was abusive. He didn't know how to control himself when he got angry. He chased me down the stairs. I ran faster than him. He snapped his Achilles tendon, crawled to the end of the hall, punched my face, broke my glasses. My dad was a fucking idiot. And then my mother, who was horrible to him, said, "Look what you did to your father. Now he's got to walk around on crutches." Tried to make me feel guilty for that. And here I am in Georgia. It's clicky here. I'm alone. The Bible says God will never leave you nor forsake you. Sometimes it feels like he's not there. But I know he is. Where does a man go when he has nowhere to go? Church? Work? No, you can't go there. Work pays the bills. Church now is just me hearing a sermon. That's it. There's no worship there. The church limits itself. Even our white culture is dead. They play the same music, sing the same songs, indicating that they have absolutely no spontaneity, no passion. Michael could do a better job running a church than the worship leader could. I'd expose people to different music. They'd resist that. They'd resist it because this is the artificial culture that I live in. We talk about AI. Do you know why AI is taking off in America? Because people have been fake for years in the South and superficial all across this country. How's Mr. Right today? And they use words like ginormous and play professional and everything's fake. So it makes sense to go to AI. It makes sense to embrace it. Women want that. They want fake. They got a woman on YouTube that now she's doing videos with squirrels running up her arms and on her head. All AI. Wow, it's not even real. And people are thumbs upping that in the hundreds of thousands. Yep. That's why my channel will never have a meteoric rise. People are scared to death of naked honesty. I wish I was rich. I wish I could build something like that and freaking leave. Just come to shore to resupply and then just go drift around in the ocean. And when I get bored, I go, and nobody will hear it. I love the past. I love art. I love Southeast Asia. See all my makeup? Isn't this cute? I need a vanity. I need a girl's vanity now so I can sit there and go like this. And the reason I started doing this is because life is boring. People ask, do you love your new job? No, I hate it. Making 3 people filthy rich? Yeah, that's cool. But how come we can't get a couple dollars an hour more? I work my ass off. We don't have a voice. The people that believe in the right to keep and defend arms and bear arms and all that. Oh, they ain't going to take our guns away. You want to make a bet? They've already taken a lot away and you did nothing. You think because you have a pistol that you're going to stop this. I'm trying to voice on the internet that we've got a deep problem. And if conservatives and Christians and white men and people don't stand up against the feminazism of today's Western narcissistic, selfish women that don't need a man, well, we don't need those women either because they ain't ladies. What are you going to get with this? What are you going to get? If you're lucky, you might get to nurse at those things once, but you might have to pay a lot of money to do it. What are you getting? And we've reduced ourselves as men to that's it. And we keep it up. And women in white society are not having birth rates anymore. Our race is diminishing while the hostility is being mounted against us. It's crazy. And what can we do? We vote in people to represent us in Washington, and they represent themselves. I tell you what, it's depressing. I don't do drugs and drink. My only vice is lust. I don't care if everybody at the church saw the video of me wearing this. They ought to play it on the dang screen there. At least more people come in and listen to me on a good day than listen to them. My gosh. Boring, shallow, superficial, loveless, passionless people. Most of their husbands don't come to church. Most of their husbands probably regret that they married these women. There's one woman who goes there. She's married. She's attractive. She looks wholesome. She's not like any of the women there. I can tell by looking at her, this woman is genuine. She will say hi to me. I don't talk to her because she's married. She got kids. That's an out deal for me. I'm 60. I'm not dating a woman with little kids. There's nobody there. But the woman who normally sits by me, she's my age, she's on a cane, and she's got a lot of health problems. I prayed for her. I'm like, she hasn't been here in 3 Sundays. Hope she's okay. If I was to walk out of that church and never come back, none of them would care or say, where is he? None of them have come by my house. None of them. None of them have invited me to lunch. None of them have tried to get to know me. And Pastor says, if you want friends, be friendly. I said, Pastor, I get what you're saying, but I shouldn't have to come into church and avail myself. I don't agree with that. I'm sorry. I have something to go back to. I went to a church in Sedona. I had gotten married to my first wife. We were visiting from Prescott. An elder couple. He had a cowboy hat, the bolo tie. They had some Native American turquoise jewelry. Very nice couple. They took us to lunch. They took us downtown Sedona. People don't do that anymore. I've seen a time where in the 80s, people reached out to you. You coming into church. When I was in Colorado, pastor said we're really begging for people to greet people. See, our society's become, let's all be plastic solar flowers. Have you seen those gay things? They're in boring Karen's women's houses in the window when you pull up to their townhomes. We have to have a greeter, somebody who's being plastic as you come in. I came into Calvary Belmar in Lakewood. What a joke of a church that was. I'm so done with Calvary chapels. They say they're non-denominational, and that's a crock of crap. They are a denomination. They're all spawn of Chuck Smith, and I liked a lot of what Chuck Smith did, but I wore this. And one of those plastic greeters, there's only one gal that would welcome me. She was the daughter of a missionary family. She had piercings out of all over her face, had her hair lesbian short, and dyed spiky red. Her husband was milquetoast. He was a simp, I could tell by looking at him. She'd always talk to me. This guy greets. Welcome to Calvary Belmar. I pray that God releases the chains from your life as you come to join us in attendance. And I'm wearing this. I said, dude, it's a necklace. I don't have chains on me. And I started to walk away. Oh, well, then after the service, you need to tell me how to get rid of my chains. I said, I don't need to tell you anything, sir. Now, with all due respect, what a clown. That's what we do by getting greeters. Making a judgment that I got this. I do have chains in my life, but it's none of his business. The problem with today's Christians in America is they're used car salesmen. Did you trust Jesus as your Savior? Did you get involved with small group fellowships? Did you take the time to get to know me? Now, come on, Mike. Yeah, professional pizzazz. I'm not interested in that. When I go to a thrift store and a woman that looks like Elvira comes up to me and says, I love that necklace. That made me feel good. When I stood in a Dollar Tree at the JCRS shopping center in Lakewood, Colorado, a woman with brown slacks, poop brown slacks, an ugly yellow button-up shirt, long hair, she looks blasé. Her facial expression was lifeless and zombificated. I'm holding a few things. It wasn't COVID. Maybe about 2018. She just looked dowdy. She didn't look good with brown and yellow, and she looked dowdy. Dressed business-wise. Turned around and looked and made the air brake sound. Oh, you commercial driver's license too? I should have done that. She looks at me a second time. Why do you wear that? What's that? That chain. I said, I like it. That must be heavy. I said, it's about 3 pounds. She sneered. I wish I'd have been bolder. There was nobody behind me. There was nobody else in the store. I should have said, you know, ma'am, I got a question for you. Do I know you? No, you don't. So why would you ask me, a stranger, about what I'm wearing? What does that have to do with you? You're going to get your stuff, get in your car. I'm never going to see you again. And I listened to women in my chat last night. Australia, New Zealand, Scotland, Ireland, Canada. Several, I don't remember who specifically, said that's the problem with Americans. They want to boss everybody around and tell everybody what to do. And they're absolutely freaking right. I cannot go out in public without some woman getting rattled by the fact I don't look or walk or talk the way they think I ought to. And that's why I wear these clothes. That's why I do what I do. I could never please my mother. I can't please a variety of white women in our culture. I worked at Denver Public Schools and I watched Jolene get away with shitload of stuff that anybody else would have been fired for. Another Hispanic woman was nasty to people. Backed her brand new bus into the yellow pole that protects the diesel pump, crushed it, didn't get reprimanded for it. That just blows me away. She drove with the lift gate down on the bus, hitting her friend, knocking her to the ground and breaking her glasses. That should have been automatic termination. I'm telling you, it's not good to be white in today's 2026 America, and a male and a Christian and conservative. It's not good. I don't have that privilege card. The people that have privilege are the lawless, are the attitudinal, the baditudinal. That's the ones who's got all the privilege. The Hollywood spoiled brats, the sports celebs. And against that backdrop, I got to go to church and get banged on again about how I'm supposed to be Christ-like in a world that's full of the devil. I don't have family to draw on. I don't have the family of God in a church to draw on. Nobody's my friend at work. I know God is in me, because if he wasn't, I'd frickin' give up. I mean, I look at rent, $1,200 for a pigsty. $1,200. I can't afford that. When the rent per month is half of your monthly pay, something's wrong. My mother actually used to say a rent should only be 1/3 of your monthly income. It's way over that now. Nothing's stopping this out of control freight train. But Wednesday, we got to hear another preacher come in and tell us about godliness and this and that. And the owners of that company are millionaires. Why can't you kick us? Why can't you pump me up to 20 an hour? You're getting your money's worth with me. And I agree with the black guy I work with. He said, because they want to keep us down. I hear that a lot. Of black people will say that, and they're not off their rocker. I'm so tired of Republicans telling us, well, you know, if you tax the rich men, they won't start business. So you defend the rich men. You defend capitalism. Capitalism's killing us. Are you a socialist? No. But greed runs most of capitalism today. There's a distaste in my mouth. The owner of Hobby Lobby is a Christian. The owner of Chick-fil-A is a Christian. That's great. They're billionaires. And how much do you get to work at Hobby Lobby? Not much. I swear, life is an Amway scheme. We defend capitalism, but not everybody can be on top of the heap. And the Democrats want to take all the money away from all of us and give it to the people who don't deserve it at all. When an immigrant gets $3,800 a month and a person on social gets maybe $1,200, yeah, something's off. Now, that's what I saw on YouTube the other day. I didn't fact check that. I'm sorry to be raw with what I'm about to say, but sometimes life boils down to this. Give me an attractive woman that I can bury my face into her chest and enjoy it and lose myself. What else is there to look forward to? Oh, go on vacation, spend thousands of dollars to go to a crowded tourist hotel that charges $300 a night, pay $100 for dinner, go down to the beach, it's full of a bunch of people stepping on everything. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. The flights and the airlines are screwing up. Book a flight to go overseas and then they cancel the flight. Well, that just screwed up your 2 weeks off. People say, Mike, why don't you go to Savannah? Do you guys know anything about Savannah? It's just as bad as Augusta. The only difference is it's on the Atlantic. Hurricane. Was it, what the heck was the hurricane that came in? Hurricane Dory or Dora or something. I don't remember what it was. I had to drive the bus for that. People from Jacksonville and Savannah came. They stayed in one of the middle schools here, and I shuttled them to Walmart. So they go get food and stuff. FEMA paid for that. And I had a bunch of people from Savannah on my bus. They left chicken bones all over my bus floor. Some of them were just downright rude. Some of them got arrested. I didn't have to give them a ride back. They shoplifted in the store and got arrested in Richmond County. One of the other drivers said, yep, several people on my bus got arrested and they're not coming back to Savannah on our buses. They'll be there until they get out and somebody will have to come and get them. Savannah is a shithole. Used to be nice. You can go down by the waterfront. $100 to go on the fake riverboat. It's not even a riverboat. It's got propellers under it and a big fake wheel that turns. Everybody likes faux. I'm touristed out. I have a friend. He wants to go to they got a fake Titanic museum in Tennessee. I saw it. I saw a video. It's expensive. Why do I want to go to a fake ship? And that's what we're doing. We're paying for virtual. Virtual sex, virtual tourist experiences. Ooh, they got an exhibit that you could put your hand in the water and know how cold the water was the night it sank. I'll tell you what, go to Duluth, go to Lake Superior and jump in. There you go. Why am I going to pay to go in there and feel Titanic cold water? I swam in the Pacific as a kid. And you know what? Contrary to popular belief, LA can be 100 degrees. You spend an hour in the Pacific Ocean, your lips turn blue. It's very, very cold. The Pacific is not warm on the US side. It's bathwater on the Hong Kong side. And the Philippines. There are times, even me as a Christian man, I wish I had the money to just chuck it and say, I'm going to go sit in a village in the Philippines for 6 months, lose myself with a sexual tryst with a beautiful young lady. And that's not what God wants me to do. I wish I could go to Japan, meet a beautiful Japanese woman who's wealthy and wants me to come over there and be her man. As I get older, as I watch society, our days are numbered. My days are numbered. You go to church, You got a testosteronic alpha male complex. Got the picture perfect Hallmark family. Everybody's in subjection to him. Even the elementary school girl gets up there and gets her voice real low like she's American Idol to sing a song. And the men are going, yeah! And all she's doing the whole time is professional. Isn't that exciting? She's not a kid. She's an actress. The mother comes in a one-length dress, white with a color wheel and a belt this wide with a big belt. I'm like, wow, this is so amazing. I lived in Hong Kong and I saw Chinese and Filipino and Indonesian, and they dress so pretty and so cute with their interesting clothing, colorful and real. The Filipinos dress so cute. Dress barn culture. Does anybody get a sense of what I'm talking about? People say you're very judgmental. On the contrary. I grew up in that culture. That culture ousted me long ago. That culture locked my bedroom door. That culture made me pee behind my bed. Yes. So now I judge it as I should. A lot of American women are too big for their britches. And they need to be told that. You're not cute. You're not sexy. Your clothing is ugly. You're overweight. And I don't care how much lipstick you put on you. Putting lipstick on a pig doesn't make the pig stop being a pig. Pulling your drape off of your shower and putting it around you with your Angry Bird face, and your face is this big. You never say hi to me. You never say good morning. I'll tell you who says good morning to me at that church. Women that sit there by themselves. They're not part of the scene either. There's a fairly heavy-set woman. She says, morning. I say, good morning. And it's almost like the minute we say something, we both understand each other. We're here, but this isn't our thing. Anybody see Home Alone? Remember when he went down to Central Park and who was it, that dude feeding the pigeons? Cully McCulkin sits in the back of that stone Catholic church or whatever on Christmas Eve, and that old man comes and sits by him. I can relate to that. I'm not a picture-perfect Christian. I'm not a Kodak moment Christian. I heard more times emphasized in the service about dressing right. As long as I got my suit and tie, let me tell you about a good thing. What is wrong with me that I don't agree with that? Am I obtuse? Am I fooked up? I don't like suit and ties. I don't think suits and ties look good. Your pleated pants, and I watch the people. I mean, you're obsessed with that. And then you get up there and try to be this man, and you can't give your all for Jesus when he gave his all for you. Get off your high horse. You're not genuine at all. You think by wearing these kinds of clothes and your bellicose voice makes me want to be like you? It don't. I was offended by this guy. If you don't come tonight, then you are part of you're listening to the devil and being deceived. Why would I come to watch teens? I dealt with them for 20 years. I don't want to watch teens. I could give a shit about teen girls. They're narcissists. I'm not going to applaud that. I don't want to be part of it. Good night. You're manipulating people to come to church? Get off of it. And I love my pastor, but it just became clear yesterday, this place is dying. It's not happening. Keep believing. Keep believing. Keep spinning that hamster wheel. Squeak, squeak, squeak. You mice don't stop it. I'm going to let you free out in the yard. I need something more than this. I'm sorry. The music sucks. 80s elevated track music with the drums, all that, the packaged, canned music. Whatever happened to the organ and the piano? We threw out the old hymns and we sing the same ones, the same few 3 every week. We got a hymnal this big. I've never heard them sing "A Mighty Fortress Is Our God." It's too deep for them, that's why. Are Southerners that dumb? Is their repertoire that limited? Are we that stunted in our spiritual growth? Yeah. Michael's trying to drink out of a well with brackish, stagnant, dirty water. That well ain't deep enough for me. Story of my life. There's a piece of music. Is it Miami Vice? There's a piece of music. I was listening to it at my house a couple of years ago. I was listening to the whole thing. And the music doesn't pause. It almost sounds like a bell ringing. Not a church bell, but just a haunting. And it hit me so fast. I was standing in the kitchen. I heard that. Oh my gosh. Just the sound and the music, no singing, made me concoct the entire story of the Mike Room. I pictured that bell ringing and that powerful music, and picturing me standing on the 70-foot sailboat and the sky's getting black as sin. And oh boy, we're in for it this time. And that prompted me. And you go to church with the corporate suit and tie. They can't do that. They don't have that kind of passion. I'd love to finish that story, but it would have sin in it. It'd have reality in it, and I can't. Because Christians like to package everything in a suit and tie. I'm glad that professionals didn't write the Bible. Christianity'd have no followers if they did. It was written by a lot of screw-ups that God used in spite of themselves. You know, I'm deeper than this. And people can say what they want. Pastor's going to say this person's nice, this person's nice. They're nice to you. It's awkward. It's very awkward. How many times have I thought I had an interest in somebody and they lied, or they played a game and they disappear? Today's world is so different. My friend who taught in China said, "Do you remember when we were growing up, people smoking and drinking and pot were in the minority, and now it's all around us?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "And they're looking at us like we're strange." And I said, "Well," I said, "I wouldn't mind going to West Virginia, Ohio border up in the mountains where it's pretty." And he was saying, "West Virginia is so underrated. It is a beautiful place. And the nice thing about Virginia is it's built in such a way you can't have urban sprawl, which is why I like it. Virginia does not have big cities. Morgantown and Charleston is about it. And they're small. They're smaller than Augusta." And I joked to him, I said, "What? You don't think I couldn't marry into a oh, what is the word I'm thinking of? Oh, I forgot the word. When family's marrying family." Said, "You don't think I could find a bucktooth, inbred girl and get along with her just fine up there?" West Virginia's had a history of inbreeding. The hillbillies, and there's some weird culture up in there. That's not my thing either. He said, "Mike, they wouldn't accept you because you don't drink and smoke." He's probably right. They got guys in West Virginia that have snake handler churches. Can you believe that? Today on Let's Play with a Live Rattlesnake and Get Healed in the Name of Jesus. How about if we don't try this at home? My mother cured me of ever wanting to try smoke because I couldn't stand the smell of it. My mother was a selfish, narcissistic addict. She was horrible to her husband, horrible as a mother. But her and the natural born get along like this. Birds of a feather go to hell together. I have no impact, no witness, no influence on any of my family, except my cousin. He called and left a message yesterday. I called him back, but he wasn't there. God allowed me to reach him for Christ. He's the only one that God allowed me to be part of reaching. And I'm thankful. Because as kids, he was the one I looked forward to being around the most. My cousin on my aunt and uncle's side, on my dad's side, he was mean as all get out. And he went through his own hell. His dad favored sports. My cousin liked to read books. He drowned himself in listening to Journey and reading Stephen King. I couldn't stand Stephen King, and Journey to me was okay. A couple songs I like, but Steve Perry is not a... Sender My Love is one of my favorites, but Journey was great when I was in high school. Doesn't have the staying power that some bands have. I love the song by what is the name of the group? Now I'm drawing blanks. This is terrible. No one can stop you now. Tonight you're on the loose. Saga, Canadian band. That's my theme song. Tonight you're on the loose. I don't feel free. I feel trapped by economics, by bosses that won't pay you what you're worth, I feel trapped. You go to church and people say a lot of stuff. I don't see the Jesus difference with those people. I see a clique. I see a maturity. I see boring, passionless, lackluster people, lackluster dressing, overweight all through the congregation, and stuck up teens. What a great place to go to on Sunday. I'd love to do commercial broadcasting and do parodies of this stuff. They even made fun of that culture years ago on Saturday Night Live. The church lady. It's so true. And a problem with a lot of Baptists, they have a little bit of knowledge, but they don't have any heart. And I said that. One of my favorite piano pieces, music pieces, is Heart and Soul. And God gave me that. A lot of Christians don't have either or. So it makes it harder in the fight against sin because the church and the people in church aren't giving you a reason to try to come back into the light. And I'm trying to tell people that this does have a negative effect when you're around crappy people, crummy people. And I love my pastor, but I think he's got too high of a view of his own people. You know, God told him to pastor that. It's not for me to question, but I'd be putting some jumper cables to that church. I'd tell Mr. Testosterone to sit down and say, you're not running the choir anymore. I'm going to get somebody in here who's going to turn this into Sister Act real quick and get this choir fired up. Doing the same 3 songs and track music that goes da 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 da, ah, you know, it's all got that same recipe. Towards the end, ah, shift, pushing the clutch, ah. I hate that. That's gay music. The 80s, I saw that. I saw that in music. I watched it in rock and roll music. When the 80s came, the 80s had the hottest music. You get to 85 on up, and music had that shift. Well, now we're following a recipe. We're not ELO. We're not the Charlie Daniels band. We're not Duran Duran. We're not. Now we're and they talk about it with the woke music. Why are we playing 80s track music in 2026? And then he gets up and says, I want to see more black people in here. They don't listen to 80s track music, Bray. You going to get him in here with this? The people have proven they're limited. They're boring. I used to like to ride the Limited in Colorado because it avoided all the stops. When I had a long way to go, I'd get on the 16 Limited and it jetted me to my stop quicker. If you took the regular 16 every block, stop, stop. And it was like that beginning of Silly Love Song. Boy, this bus ain't going to get out of its own way. Oh, now a guy's got a bike on the bike rack. There's another 10 minutes. The Limited. Have a good evening, driver. You too, Michael. Bye. Going to this church is stunting me. Go find another. I've been to several. It's the South. And while they're making fun of Northerners and judging me for my long hair, Michael's flying at 36,000 feet, and they're in a Piper Cub Cadet or a Cessna, barely clearing treetops. A mosquito. You been around people like that? Laughing at dumb stuff, laughing at things that aren't funny. What's with the fake laugh? Oh, I hate that. Does anybody hate that? Oh my gosh. I'm done. But people get in that environment and they rate themselves by themselves. And when that's all they know, they think they're pretty good. And then I come in there and I'm like, okay, there's a mindset in here. I'm seeing some things showing up. I'm doing a health report of the church and it's not healthy. It's better than some, but it's not healthy. Not all of us are wired the same way. We're all different. And unfortunately, when you go to church, you're forced to go with group dynamics. And while they're looking at me funny, I'm looking at them going, you guys don't have anything here. None of you are changing. I don't see more love and warmth coming out of any of you. And the choir director says, are you changing? I want to say, are you? You talk about change. I don't see the teenagers being more respectful. I don't see these people coming up and say, Mike, how was your week? How are you? They're not doing it. Are you changing? Preach at yourself. Christian growth is not wearing a suit and tie and being fake. I hate to break it to you, dog. It just ain't. So now that we cleared the deck on that one, I've often seen myself as an ocean liner out there in the middle of a stormy sea and there's nobody following me and I'm not following anybody. Black smoke coming out of the funnels, machinery running, and I'm on the bridge going, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? We ain't going there. I just air out my grievances and my struggles for everybody to have a touchstone. I don't always find answers, but it feels good to ventilate on the internet. I like to pollute the internet with myself because there's a lot of yucky stuff on the internet. At least my stuff is just honesty. Thank you for listening. To walk the walk is not easy. Be safe. Happy Monday. Stay cool.